Hi, welcome to my chess channel on YouTube. Thank you for visiting it. Today's date is the 29th of June 2018. Aren't we streaming through this year? Here is the position, first of all, that occurred in a blitz game with my opponent being some 152 rating points above mine or thereabouts for blitz chess on chess.com. So your wee mission for the start of this session is, can you find the move that I played here that decommissioned black on the spot, that either caused immediate resignation or there's no way to stop checkmate next move. So that's the wee mission for you, to decommission black here with one single move. Now this seems to be the area of the board, the Kingside, because I'm white. This seems to be the area of the chessboard that I particularly tend to operate quite well on. This square in particular, I'm noticing I can usually checkmate black on a number of times. So that all being said, can you find the move? And so if you want to try and figure out the move, because it's sort of simple really, but some of my friends may not find it so simple, but the move is for me to move the bishop, okay, for mine on h6 to g7, and that's more or less giving the bishop up for free. Now all moves, doesn't matter what black plays, black will get checkmated next move. There's nothing black can do about it. So even if the rook, you'll see my mouse pointer, if this rook after bishop g7, okay, this bishop goes to g7, giving itself up, even if this rook moves here to give the king a square, it's not really, because then I just go queen h7 checkmate. The only thing though I must say is possible is this, bishop g4 check. I've just seen that, so that actually is something I'm going to have to notice. Bishop g4 is a move for black. Funny. Okay, so here we've got this position. So basically bishop g7, and my opponent resigned. Probably if that move, then I would take it with my king, but then we'd get rook g5 check and king g5, but still it'll end up my king checkmates or aids checkmate by playing king g5, and if bishop g7, king g6 and queen h7 checkmate, or something to that effect. Is quite cute anyway. Okay, so let's get on with the chess game. That's what we're all here for, I hope. And here is this game today. Now this game today shows Kingside versus Queenside, something that goes a long way back for me. When I was a junior, I heard a lot about a Chinese player from the Otago Chess Club would be talking about a Queenside assault against a Kingside assault. So let's have a look at this. So this is my opponent is how many points? My opponent's 57 points ahead of me on chess.com for blitz, and here we go. So if Bobby, like I said earlier, if Bobby Fischer was playing this opening for white, the King's Indian, then he, like, it doesn't need to be said anymore, does it? If the great Bobby Fischer was playing the King's Indian, then it can't be all too bad for anyone else to play it. Now I play it almost thematically. but I'm not saying that I play it well. E5, so that white gets the opportunity to play e5. Now it looks like black's going to just attack this pawn and it's going to get lost. So rook e1 and black plays again queen c7 now, and it attacks the e5 pawn 3 times, and I'm only defending it twice, so I play knight queen e2, and this is defend the collection of pieces on black's camp, attacking my e5 apex pawn. But this e5 pawn is very, very important for white, and it sort of breaks the position up. Okay, it breaks the position up into, this is my side of the board or the other side. It might be the other side of the board I'm talking about here, because that's how video works. So my side is sort of saying, I'm on the king side, you can do whatever you like on the queen side, there or there, I don't care, I won't even hardly look at what you're doing, because all I've got is a plan and it's already worked out before I've started the game. But that's because I've been able to play e5. So b5, look, this gets quite scary. These pawns start to come at me, and they can be quite scary looking. I can remember New Zealand champion who ended up New Zealand chess champion. He, as black, would play this stuff against me too. a5, h4. We've got to be equal to the task, and this is a typical move for white to play, and it's wanting to place my bishop on f4, which would have and then knight e3 happens too in other cases, and then knight d5 and e6, and you're attacking the queen with the bishop on f4, so to speak. So h4 happens, so I can place my bishop to f4 without g5 being a possibility by black, which is not bad for black. Bishop a6. Now this looks quite scary, because this is just like looking like all these pawns are coming at me. Bishop f4, just keep on going. And the thing about who usually does well out of a king side versus a queen side assault, which is, my king isn't over here, my king's over here, I'm sitting there going like this, but because my king is on the king side and black's king is on the king side, then usually an assault will do better against the king than it will against a queen. In this case, the queen's on my king side. So rook c8, h5, b4, I've met that move before, knight h2, knight 1 h2, it's placed as knight f1 or knight 1 h2. And then comes queen b6, wanting to protect the bishop, I suppose. So look, it looks quite ominous, doesn't it? Like white looks like they're just going to meet all these pawns coming at them, which is exactly what happens. Knight g4, look, c4. Now what's happening now? I could play this, but if I play d4, I can't play it because I just lose material. I lose a pawn at least. Plus, black has the menacing c3, opening, cancel. Opening c3 black has if d4, and that's threatening pawn takes because my opponent's bishop on a6 is attacking my dear old lovely queen. So anyway, I go h6. Now, if I was black, I would probably just ignore h6 because of what I know about my friend, who would say, if they take the pawn on g7, move your rook away. They can't checkmate you on g7, can they? If their pawn's on g7, they can't checkmate you there. But my opponent plays g6. Okay, now what do I do? Okay, defend? No, I keep going onwards and upwards. Now I want to relinquish the f6 square. Now if I have two pawns on f6, a pawn on f6 and a pawn on h6 is very, very difficult for me to get a checkmate anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to be very careful of having two pawns on f6 and h6 for white. Knight g5. Okay, and now comes this knight d4. Ouch! What a painful move. I thought, oh no, I've allowed knight d4. This is really crunchy for black. Black's really, because I've went from the kingside, of course, I've went from the centre to the kingside. So that's invited an Alekhine type move of knight d4 going into the centre with their knight. That's how one detracts, or also a move from the centre, I mean from the flank to the flank, that you attack in the centre, as Alekhine taught us all. Now I go back to d1. Well, what else? If I go queen d2, I don't really like c3. I don't like the looks of it for white. So go queen d1. Then b3. Look at this. Everything's coming at me. Okay, knight c2. Don't worry, we're not far from the end of the game. Now what do I do? Now what do I do? Okay, now what's the move to play here? I'm obviously going to lose a rook for a knight. So I'm going to lose an exchange. So what do I do now? I play the move. You can find it. It's very simple to find because it's my move. I found it. So it's really, really easy to find it. Is this queen f3. Now black could very well play knight d4 and maybe save themselves, but they don't. They take one of these rooks. Which one? You can guess it. Knight a1. Okay, now I have to take back here, and I'm maybe in a lost position if black plays it right. Now here black probably could play the following move here. Queen here, or even maybe f5. I don't know. I haven't analysed it. But black did not play queen d8, which I think is probably the best idea for black to try and win this position. Black played queen b3. And so what move did I now play that results in checkmate eventually, which is one of the things I wanted to say often on here. Eventually, what would be something that's quite hard for black to meet is the obvious knight f6 check, and my opponent resigned. Why did my opponent resign? Because if knight f6, then not ef6, which is futile because black's going to be laughing at white to say an idiot. But queen f6 here and queen g7 cannot be avoided by black. Black cannot avoid queen g7 checkmate no matter what they do. Anything on the board, I believe, cannot stop queen g7 at all next move. So the only other thing is black had this, king h8. Now this would result in this, and now I'm threatening to take the rook back, and even if the queen takes here, it's a real big mistake because the queen f6 check and queen g7 checkmate. So the queen d3 is no good, and if the rook moves, well, same sort of thing, queen here is checkmate. So the only move here, I think, or feel, or believe, is either f6 or f5. I believe that's the only move here for black. Other geniuses, that I'm not a genius of course, other geniuses out there will be able to find things that black could be really difficult about with white. But I don't think so. Queen f6 very, very powerful. Now let's say this, okay? Now there's one move here. Knight f7 is checkmate. And I better finish this session. And also queen f6 check. And the only move is rook g7. And I could be mean, I could take with this, but I don't see the point. Queen g7 is checkmate. Okay, so that is the end of my session. So that's what I consider quite a bit of good instruction on 1d3 for white, which is quite good because black throws everything inevitably at white down the queenside, or they can just castle long, and it's a different game as well, which is quite interesting for white. It really tests the King's Indian according to the book on the King's Indian defense or attack, or whatever one wants to call it. So thank you very much for visiting my YouTube channel, and that's all from me today, David Wegener, over and out from the deep, 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 deep south of New Zealand. Thank you. Bye bye. That's all from me on the Muppet Show.